So I'm not going to be making a paintball video for a couple days because this is my weekend truck, or my weekend vehicle. My regular car is it's a 6-speed manual diesel Golf or turbo diesel Golf, but that's my company car. So this is actually my my fun truck, but also my weekend ride. And the fuel pressure regulator died. This is a shitty old deadhead reg. Came with the fuel pump, but I replaced the fuel pump for an electric fuel pump a while ago. That came with it, and it took a shit on me. So I'm switching over to a bypass regulator that runs a line back to the tank. But when you do that, you need to run a second line. And I figured no kill like overkill. So I grabbed a bunch of stainless, and I'm gonna run a line that way. But I'll do a quick tour of the truck. It's in shockingly fair condition. I have to move this. This is for the hitch controls, or the hitch lights. Sorry, trailer lights. But it's in shockingly good condition. My yoke's definitely leaking, but that's a different story for another day. And this truck came from Washington State. It spent a good portion of its life actually in Alaska as well, which might be why it's not completely roached out. It's an F250. It's the bed. It's in fairly good shape. Not too bad. Underneath the bed's also basically the same. It's not super roached out because I guess it was in the frozen north. And I mean, it's an F250, so it's not really a show truck ever. It's too big. 8-foot bed, full-length bed, single cab. And yeah, I just love it as a all-around work truck, just to do whatever you need to do with it. Never losing that came with it that way. I haven't done a ton to it. It's a 400 block, and basically most of the stuff I've done to it, this is all off because I have the fuel line detached. I had the deadhead regulator sitting like in this bolt hole back here, and it was working, but it's a shit reg. That's those garbage Holly regs that come for like $8 or some shit like that. It came with the pump, the Holly Blue electric pump. I didn't do a ton in here though. Replaced the intake manifold for an aluminum one that was a 4-barrel. That's a 650 CFM Edelbrock carb on it, so nothing ridiculous. It's a 400 motor, which is like a 351 Cleveland, but they're not incredible motors, but it's 6.6 liter, makes decent power, and you can make pretty good power out of them if you don't expect to go crazy. And I really don't expect to go crazy ever with this truck. Distributor, this is a newer style distributor. That's like a Chevy HE kind of, or HEI kind of distributor, just one wire going to it, unlike the old Ford setup. So I simplified the wiring with that. I got rid of the original alternator and switched over to this one wire alternator. Has the voltage regulator and everything internalized, or internal in it, so that shit's not over here anymore, because two of them failed on me since I've been screwing around with this truck. And high amp starters down there, but that's nothing crazy. And everything I've done so far is just to try to simplify it and modernize it a little bit. I got rid of all of the vacuum, the EGR setup, all of the vacuum setup, the vacuum tank with the canister that was like a juice box or juice bottle, like an old aluminum, juice bottle. I got rid of all that crap because this is the first year, it's the 78, so it's the first year that I think these trucks had to meet smog regulations, and they didn't really know how to do it, so they just kind of detuned the motor and just pissed fuel down the pipe instead of trying to make it burn cleanly. So everything kind of worked like shit. So the only vacuum I have left is going to my brake booster, and it's going to the distributor. And everything else got capped off because we're not using vacuum for all that other weird shit that it was trying to do. And yeah, it's just been an honest truck since I've owned it. My fuel lines are going to be running down this side now instead of that side, because Edelbrock in their infinite wisdom put the inlet on this side, and they want to charge you a lot of money to to get a top that puts the inlet on the other side, and they made the threads 5/8 by 20, which is fuck you size basically, because that doesn't exist really. You have to buy a special tap and drill out the plug they have on the other side if you want to move it, or you got to buy one of their AN adapters, which I did from Russell, which is Edelbrock, because, you know, fuck me, that's what they like doing to you. And yeah, that's about it so far. Back here, let me just this is my configuration I started putting together. My pump's going to sit here. This is sitting at an angle just to keep water from being able to stick on it, so it's going to roll off. I plated it with like 3/8 diamond plate. I had a sheet of it laying around, like a sheet basically this size. I cut these big holes out of it so I can still get access to the bed bolts that go here, and so I can move the electric around. These are the ground holes for this and the tank sending unit. This is going to mount the return feed, which is going to go there like that. So return line is going to snake in, and then it's going to be braided AN fitting style underneath through. I'm going to lose this and replace it with an AN bulkhead fitting, then we'll put another one in for the return. I'm going to run that way back into the tank. Just keep it clean. This plate keeps it clean. Then I can run the stainless steel hard line from here. This is a stainless steel fitting to connect into the stainless steel hard line. I'm going to flare it, run it this way, and sneak it, you know, through the frame up there, go underneath, and we'll run it up through the frame, and we're going to come on the inside of the cross member, inside and up where the transcooler lines are, right there, and then catch it right underneath the alternator, well, the alternator area. And yeah, this is the truck. Not a ton done to it. There's new floor pans put in. I put new floor pans in it. I put this vinyl flooring down, which is just easier. I love the old carpet that was in. It was like real 70s, but you just couldn't buy it anymore like that. So this is a seat cover. Seat cover fits the truck. Gun rack in it because Alaska truck. And toss an old Ford stereo in it. I actually have a Bluetooth module wired into it, so I can just play my phone on it. It's still single speaker up top. There's a double speaker, but just sitting there. And yeah, just an honest, pretty fun to drive automatic F250. It gets the job done, and we're just going to be doing a little fuel line work. Well, I guess major fuel line work, but it's a good truck. I kind of wanted to make it so I never have to think about this again with the fuel line issues. Do it once, do it right, and just complete it. The tank's new as well. I should have said that. This is a camper special, so it had the dual tank. So the side tank was there, and I took that out because I got the 40-gallon rear tank, like the Bronco updated rear tank. I had to put bumpers on it because they had some gnarly ass, like real industrial truck bumpers in the front and back. And I didn't realize that these bumper brackets are like unobtainium, so they just don't exist anymore. So you have to kind of make your own. I guess I made it a little overkill, and that's kind of the theme here. So when I placed the rear bumper on, that was a little bit bigger of a job than I thought it was going to be. I got to do something with the rear. It's leaking. I was thinking about just switching it entirely for a newer one, like a 2000 that has discs, so I can, you know, kill two birds with one stone. Maybe get a front as well that has discs on it, and well, this has discs, but I get a front from a 2000 as well, so the bolt pattern doesn't change on the rims. And yeah, that's the update so far. All right. That's it for this.